Disc Makers was founded back in 1946. Starting in about the mid-'80s, Disc Makers' shift in focus went from selling to the record labels to selling to independent artists. Let us offer a service where we bundle the whole thing. They can give us a master, they can give us some photographs and their credits, and we can do everything for them and deliver them finished records. And so kind of the package concept was born. All other CD plans basically deal with large record labels, large corporate customers. They want long runs. And we specialize in short runs, and we specialize in basically hand-holding a ton of clients and getting their projects all done. Lots of small projects for clients. That's kind of our specialty. It's a very educational sale. Our reps kind of hold the client's hand. Many folks have never made a CD before, so we help them get their artwork ready, help them get their master ready, and deal with intellectual property rights issues, etc., and just kind of hold their hand through the whole process and get them, to get their project in. About 25% of our clients have us design the covers for them. So they'll have a photograph, they'll have their credits, they may have multiple photographs. Sometimes they have no photo, something like here or here or here. The client may just have some instructions. Frequently they're very, very vague. And it's up to our graphic designers to basically read the artist's mind and figure out what the artist wants. And they come up with great looking design, looks as good or better than anything that you can see in the store. And we send out proofs, clients approve them, they make corrections if they want changes, etc. We take care of that. And then when it's all approved, it can go into print. What we do here is, for the other projects that we don't do the design for, the client supplies their artwork, and much of the time there's something wrong. People's heads get cut off, the images are low res, they're not inside the proper design templates. And so what we do here is we take every art piece that the client supplies, basically every disc with art and design content. We open them up and we look at what may be wrong and we fix that. And then we send out another proof to the client to make absolutely sure that that's what they want. At every stage of the manufacturing process, it gets scanned, and our clients can log in online 24/7 into their own account and see exactly where the project is from a production perspective, and they can see when its estimated completion date is. This piece, for example, you can see it's a pretty complex piece with a complicated die. So what this becomes is a disc wallet. There's a pocket here that holds a booklet, and there's a pocket here that holds a disc. So the folding machines basically fold and glue fully automatically. There you go, finished wallet. Disc, pocket, literature pocket. Voila. Ultimately, for most artists, one of the main goals is to be able to ditch the day job and be able to make a living with their music. And when you do that, you obviously need, at some point in time, a financial transaction has to take place between an artist and their customer, which is often referred to as a fan. I like to call a customer because I think it creates the proper relationship between artist and fan when the artist calls their fan a customer, because you're there to serve your customer. Whereas kind of with the fan relationship, it almost creates an artist-fan kind of dynamic, whereas it should be the other way around. You're there to service and to serve your customers and deliver, great concerts, great CDs, great downloads, and great experiences.
In this day and age, the definition of success has changed dramatically. So there are plenty of people who are making a very, very good living off of their music, and nobody knows who they are. Subsequently, there's also plenty of people who are extraordinarily famous at this point, and yet the money is completely fleeting because of the cost to get there. So the idea of rich and famous being the ideal situation to get to together has largely been blown apart. And now there are so many more options to choose your own path. It's difficult to get fame without a record deal, but getting a record deal can still be a successful path to fame. But it is also possible that if you really work hard and really put your mind to it, that you can actually achieve a fair amount of financial success with your music as long as you worked hard and are aggressive with it. It's a lot of energy, and it's very, very hard. No one ever said it was going to be easy. But if you can do that, you can be able to actually get some success. But, compared to 20 or 30 years ago, it's a far different definition.
Who you are, what you do best, what genre you're most comfortable in, and then trying to achieve greatness in that genre.
What do you want to tell us about it?
Well, it's a song that I just recently wrote, and I think the reason I brought it with is because I started to realize over that time period of coming here and how things were working out that I started to get placements for material that was country, southern rock-oriented stuff. So I just want to say I think it's important to get a niche kind of for what you do and sort of work that side of it.
How did you discover your niche? Because so many people, I've heard this over the years from rally attendees that have become successful, that I thought I was this, but I found out I was that. Did you have that experience?
Yeah, to a certain extent, but I think as I was forwarding things, the things that I was getting good feedback on.
Yeah.
And I think I'd like to say about the feedback, just assume that when you get a critique, that there's going to be some sort of truth in it. Don't go at it like, oh, this is just a bunch of nonsense. Before you even open it up and read it, just go, there's going to be shreds of something good in here for me to take away from. And that's what I did. I approached everyone like, there's got to be something in here that's, so when they would look at it and go, I think you're really strong in these areas, I think you have a good, sense of this, then I would just take that home and work on that aspect of it. And I think it's really important to, we hear so much that we need to work on all of our weaknesses. I think it's important to focus on our strengths and delegate our weaknesses. I mean, you can find people that help you work on your can do the weakness side of it. So if you're not so good at singing, you're not so good at melody, you're not so good at a certain aspect of it, well then there's hundreds of people sitting in this room that are. Take your strength, build that, and work with other people who can fix your weaknesses. That's
great advice.
That's what I did.
I definitely want to go mainstream and major, just because in order for you to make hot music, you have to be on popular radio, and you have to have a major record label backing you, in order to get that #1 hit that I aspire to get, So I definitely want to make sure that I get a major record label backing me and get the distribution out there. So not only will I be, a national recording artist, but an international recording artist as well.
Having a great time, making a lot of connections, networking, learning a lot about the music industry. We're going to all the way from Houston, so I'll be driving back. I drove all the way down here. It took me about 20-something hours. So, great time.
And nowadays I'm touring now in the U.S. City. There's a lot of stuff on there that no one's going to be able to understand. But should be good. My friend invited me about this conference. Yeah, it's very cool. And you came all the way? Yeah, very good guy. I get to meet you for this time. Very nice time. Is this your first time here? Yes, my first time. Yeah, I'd love to come back every year. I'd love to. It's so good.
We all want to connect to good music. That's the foundation of this whole thing. And without artists creating good music, there is no music business. And I think that artists get disempowered very, very quickly when they forget that. When you forget that the power is in your hands as a musician, and I don't care if your goal is to connect to 10 people or to 10 million people, the art comes from you. And what's funny is I go to so many music conferences and we're all talking about whatever thing it is we're talking about and whatever area that we're experts in. And there's always someone, on the panel who very smartly says, it always has to start with a good song.
It's the one thing everybody seems to forget. There are all these great tools out there to help you promote your music, but people think that there's an expression in the industry, you can polish a turd, but it's still a turd.
There's a ton of gurus offering advice about marketing online, marketing in the music industry, etc. But if your songwriting is crap, all the marketing in the world isn't going to help you.
I don't know how many of you write choruses first or verses first, or do it like me, which is all of the above, depends on the song. But I write a lot of choruses first. If I have an idea for a lyric idea for a song, this is just my process. I'm not telling you to do it this way. I tend to start a lot of songs with a lyric idea, and then I tend to write the chorus, lyric and music, before I ever even tackle the verses, because I personally like to have this little roadmap of what the songs kind of be. I find that I'm a more effective writer this way. So, I often have my chorus created, both music and lyric, before I even think about my verses. My point is, when I go to write that verse, I don't want to steal anything from the thunder of my chorus. Especially since the chorus is going to have that big note, you know, that I call it the money note, or whatever you're hanging the hat of that chorus on.
Now, Woody Guthrie, who of us can say this? Woody Guthrie wrote a song after saying this, which I read. He said, I want to write a song that everybody likes the first time they hear it, and it's about everybody. And 3 months later, he wrote This Land Is Your Land. So think about that. Who could aspire to writing a song? And I recorded 40 or 50 of his songs with a lot of different artists. And I would say to the engineer in Burbank, you know, I say, you know Woody Guthrie? He goes, no. Because you know Arlo Guthrie? He goes, no. Did you ever hear the song, This Land Is Your Land? He goes, no. I go, This Land Is Your Land. He goes, oh yeah, I know that song. So virtually everyone in the entire world knows that song. So Woody imagined that. So anyone in this room has a really big dream. That's a pretty big dream.
How long the intro should be, how long the outro should be, when the bridge should come in, when the chorus should come in. Now that probably would make a lot of artists nauseous to think about having to structure their songs in order to get them played on the radio. But that's how, if you're looking to get a radio hit, you need to have a radio-friendly song. And there's rules for that. There's trends for that.
Liking the songwriting process is different from actually putting the work in to become really good at it. And so that's really kind of the crux there is, you know, if you want to make it as an artist, you have to put as much energy, if not more energy, into your second job, which right now is your art, as you do in your day job, which pays the bills. And it starts with actually learning how to write songs, listening to, you know, the hits on the radio, figuring out song structures, etc.